Thanks to everyone who's joined us. Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Holly Lopez. I am program chair here at UAGC and host for this session, Building a Collaborative Community Through Embracing Perspectives and Experiences. By joining us today, you acknowledge that this session is being recorded and will be shared with TLC-related materials. Microphones will be muted for this presentation, but we encourage you to post questions and comments in the chat. Also, we have enabled live transcription. If you would like to use it, click the Show Captions button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Now, I'm pleased to introduce you to our presenters. Dr. Hazar Shihadi is an associate professor and a member of the Live Learning Leadership Team in the School of General Studies here at the University of Arizona Global Campus. Since 2009, she has taught a diverse range of subjects, including English, ESL, film criticism, linguistics, literature, and humanities, supporting both undergraduate and graduate students. She has played a significant role in various committees focused on curriculum development, where she has contributed to the review, revision, and design of curricula, as well as the development of online and hybrid courses across multiple institutions. As a scholar, her research is centered on enhancing academic outcomes for minority students and exploring instructional strategies to improve student achievement and retention. Dr. Nathan Pritz is a leader in higher education, specializing in faculty development, instructional innovation, and the integration of emerging technologies in teaching and learning. As professor and program chair for first-year writing at the University of Arizona Global Campus, he has spearheaded initiatives in strategic implementation of online learning technologies, comprehensive faculty training programs, and the creation of scalable interventions to support both faculty and students in online environments. As author and researcher, Dr. Pritz has published widely on topics including digital pedagogy, AI-enhanced curriculum design, assessment strategies, and the future of higher education. We give a warm welcome, and I hand it over to you both to please share this exciting presentation with us.
Thank you so much, and hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I will start this presentation by discussing the role of adjunct faculty. Adjunct faculty have become a growing segment of the higher education workforce over the past several decades, specifically due to budget constraints and the need for flexible staffing models. Historically, faculty positions were mainly full-time with clear expectations for teaching, research, and service. So more of a historical knowledge. In the mid-20th century, full-time faculty positions were the standard in higher education, with the professors typically holding tenure and playing a central role in academic governance. However, by the 1970s and 1980s, as institutions faced rising operational costs and student enrollment growth, the use of adjunct faculty started to expand as a more cost-effective alternative. This shift or trend accelerated into the 1900s and 2000. Because the demand for online education expanded, further shifting the faculty landscape toward part-time, non-tenured instructors who could be hired on a course-by-course basis. The shift toward adjunct faculty has been influenced by changing economic conditions and increasing demand for higher education. And as institutions look to reduce costs while meeting the diverse needs of our students, part-time or adjunct faculty often fill this gap, teaching a significant portion of courses, specifically in areas with high enrollment or specialized content. Adjunct faculty now, as they stand, play a dominant role in online teaching within higher education. They do bring valuable expertise in essential subject areas. They are available at times that accommodate the evolving needs of diverse student populations. And of course, they are increasingly responsible for teaching introductory courses. So if we take a look at this graph, we can see the number of full-time faculty against part-time faculty at degree-granting higher education institutions between 2011 and 2022. In fall 2022, of the 1.5 million faculty at these institutions, 56% were full-time and 44% were part-time faculty. So what does this mean? It means, and it reflects a significant reliance on adjuncts in higher education because almost half of all teaching faculty are not full-time, many of whom lack job security, institutional benefits, and access to professional development opportunities. So this growing reliance on part-time faculty is often driven, as I mentioned before, by budget constraints, flexibility in staffing, and the need to meet the demands of increasing student enrollments, which are not the focus of our presentation today, but of course merits further analysis and discussion. So although part-time faculty positions in higher education continue to increase, reports reveal the lack of acceptance and valuing of part-time faculty across higher education institutions. Now, in this slide, in terms of adjunct faculty dominant presence in higher education, this raises concerns about the ability to fully engage with the students and the institution. And this leads us to focus on their presence of, sense of belonging, which refers to their feelings of inclusion, acceptance, and connection within the academic institution. Now, as we all know, belonging is a concept that is very hard to define. And one interesting idealistic definition of belonging I have found reviewing literature is people of all social identity groups have the opportunity to be present, to have their voices heard and appreciated, and to engage in core activities on behalf of the collective. So this sense of belonging is very crucial for part-time or adjunct faculty, as it can impact their job satisfaction, teaching effectiveness, and overall engagement with the institution. However, research suggests that these faculty members often experience weaker connections with the students, colleagues, and the institution at large, which can impact the institution's overall performance and health. Their motivations and expectations for teaching tend to differ from those of full-time faculty, influencing the extent and quality of relationships they build within the academic environment. Research on the impact of adjunct faculty on students' outcomes presents mixed results. Some studies indicate that students perform just as well or even better in courses taught by adjuncts compared to full-time faculty. For example, in certain colleges, students with adjunct instructors earned slightly higher grades in developmental math and English courses with comparable pass rate in subsequent courses. And this study was published in 2020, so it's kind of recent. On the other hand, other studies argue that students taught by adjunct faculty are less likely to continue enrolling in related subjects, with one study finding a 5% drop in persistence when an introductory course was taught by a part-time faculty or instructor. Now, these findings highlight the following. While adjunct faculty can offer short-term academic success, their impact on students' long-term outcomes, such as retention or subsequent continuation, which is progression, may be less effective. Now, without taking a side here, I'm not trying to take a side. Addressing these challenges requires universities and colleges, of course, to better understand the specific experiences of adjuncts, mainly regarding their sense of belonging that remains unexplored in research, because without a strong connection to the institution, they may not fulfill their requirements, or they may fulfill only the minimum requirements, limiting students' engagement and, of course, the learning quality. So universities and leadership must find ways to support and incorporate or integrate adjuncts meaningfully into their academic communities. Now, from a theoretical perspective or lens, belonging occupies a central position in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. To explain my point here, belonging follows the fulfillment of basic safety and physiological needs, serving as a foundation for development of self-esteem and self-actualization. Recognized as an essential psychological requirement, the need to belong reflects a main human motivation, emphasizing the individuals are driven by an innate desire to form or to create meaningful connections and relationships. This means that the concept of belonging, situated within Maslow's pyramid of needs, aligns directly with the adjunct faculty's sense of connection to their institution. Just as belonging follows safety and physiological needs, adjunct faculty members must feel included and supported within the academic environment to effectively perform their roles and duties. So when part-time faculty experience belonging, they are more likely to engage meaningfully with the students, collaborate with their colleagues, and of course, contribute to the institution's goals. However, they often encounter barriers or obstacles to developing this sense of belonging. And because of their part-time status, because of the lack of integration into the university community, and possibly because of the limited access to institutional resources. These challenges can leave them feeling isolated, which diminishes their motivation and instructional self-efficacy. So without the psychological security that belonging offers, they may resort to fulfilling only minimal requirements, reducing the involvement in student learning experiences. So, given the fact that belonging is a fundamental human need, administration and leadership efforts are really essential to fostering adjunct faculty's sense of belonging within institutions of higher education. The main issue part-time faculty face include not receiving the support necessary and needed to be effective instructors, and have concerns of low pay and non-existent job security. At the base of Maslow's pyramid are the physiological and safety needs. And while adjunct faculty may have secure employment, like outside full-time employment, their basic needs can extend to job stability and equitable compensation, of course. So administrators do play a crucial role addressing these needs by providing fair pay or competitive compensation, job security, and access to needed resources such as support services and technology. So when we ensure that these fundamental aspects are met, institutions create a more stable environment that allows their part-time faculty members to focus on their teaching and, of course, professional growth. Once these basic and social needs are addressed, the next step is to foster an environment that nurtures STEAM needs. Now, administrators and leadership can promote a culture of recognition and appreciation for adjunct faculty contributions, which of course can enhance their sense of worth and belonging at the same time. This could include formal recognition programs, highlighting the achievements of faculty member in communications or emails, or providing them with opportunities to showcase their expertise and like research maybe. Now, such recognition reinforces their value within the academic community and enhance their self-esteem as part-time faculty. To meet the higher needs of self-esteem and self-actualization, we must also prioritize equity and inclusivity. This involves creating policies that promote fairness in the workplace, in the work load distribution, access to benefits, and opportunities for participation in governance. When adjuncts feel that they are treated fairly, and included in the decision-making processes, it does enhance their sense of belonging and commitment to the institution. And this is what we have been seeing at UAGC, like adjunct faculty or associate faculty are being invited to participate in different committees because, of course, they bring like valuable experience and expertise and opinions. And this takes me to my last slide before I move it to Dr. Pritz. Let's see, okay. If we look back at Maslow's pyramid of needs, the role of adjunct faculty in enhancing their sense of belonging can be understood through different levels of the pyramid, specifically focusing on the social connections, self-esteem, and self-actualization. Here's how adjunct faculty can actively contribute to creating a more inclusive and supporting environment. They can take proactive steps to build relationships with colleagues and students, which, as we all know, very essential to fulfilling the need for belonging. Engaging in informal discussions, participating in faculty meetings, and collaborating on projects can also create a sense of community. And when I reviewed literature, many studies indicate that when faculty members share experiences and support each other, it fosters a strong sense of belonging. So by actively engaging with both full-time faculty and the students, part-time faculty can bridge the gap that often leads to feelings of isolation. Also, they have the opportunity to advocate for their needs within the institution, maybe by forming or joining faculty organizations or committees focused on adjunct issues. They can push for equitable treatment and recognition. These steps can help them fulfill esteem needs by ensuring that they feel valued and respected. And research indicates that when faculty advocate and fight for their rights and engage in decision-making processes, it does enhance their sense of belonging and professional identity. Finally, actively pursuing professional development opportunities allows them to improve their skills and knowledge. So by attending workshops, conferences such as TLC and training sessions, they not only enhance their teaching effectiveness and skills, but also demonstrate a commitment to their professional growth. This pursuit of excellence does add to their self-actualization and help them become more connected to the academic community. So continuous learning and engagement are very crucial to fostering a sense of belonging among adjunct faculty. And Nate, I'll turn it over to you.
That's great. So those are some fantastic ways that we can see adjunct faculty, associate faculty, finding ways that they can engage differently, openly, and create that sense of community. But what can we do as full-time faculty or staff within the university system? I know a lot of people started their careers adjuncting either exclusively or to kind of help make ends meet. I was an adjunct at several schools for many years. And I'm always trying to think about the experience that I had as an adjunct and what really resonated with me when I would deal with the community at the university, whether it was my department or the school overall. And I try to tap into that in different ways in interacting with anybody at the university. But I want to preface what I'm going to say by admitting that I might be out of touch. And it feels a little weird for me to sit here and say, here are the things that are going to work for adjuncts. So I hope that if you're an adjunct attending this presentation, or if you know my email address, email me and tell me where I'm wrong and tell me where I can help better and more. It, like I said, feels a little disingenuous to say, here are the things that we can do. And I feel like these are things that can be done. Hazar and I have both studied research and read quite a bit about this, but I might have a huge blind spot. So please help me help better. As Hazar was saying, the sense of belonging is not merely about being part of a team, but also stems from being seen and appreciated and valued for unique contributions. So we know that belonging in the workplace arises when individuals feel they are a significant part of the community, that their presence matters. These are things that Hazar was mentioning earlier. This leads me to the term mattering, which I stumbled across a couple of years ago and really resonated with me. Psychologists and sociologists use this term, and they find that it stems from two primary experiences: feeling valued by those around us and adding value to those around us. So it's not just about what we can contribute, but it's that contribution is valued and recognized. So for faculty, we might be able to say that this manifests in two essential experiences: feeling valued by colleagues, leaders, and the institution as a whole, and knowing that they add value through their teaching, research, service to the institution's mission and student success. When these two conditions are met, or are not met, faculty can feel disconnected, which leads to disengagement and ultimately attrition. When faculty feel a strong sense of belonging, they are more likely to commit to the institution long-term, to engage in the kinds of collaborative professional development type initiatives that Hazar was talking about, and to dedicate themselves more fully to student success. Recognition is one of the most effective ways to foster that sense of belonging. Research shows that recognition and feeling valued are two of those top drivers of job satisfaction and retention, yet we often underestimate how essential it is to acknowledge the contributions of faculty, especially adjuncts, who may already feel marginalized due to their non-permanent status. So when faculty are recognized for their unique contributions, it helps solidify their role within the community overall. Recognition can take a lot of forms. Hazar talked about this briefly. Public acknowledgement during meetings, in newsletters, highlighting a faculty member's achievements or unique teaching approaches. It could also be private recognition, just a thank you note, an email from leadership expressing appreciation. And of course, it could be tangible rewards. Access to professional development opportunities, more money, which signifies that the institution sees and values not only their contribution, but long-term potential for greater contribution. What's critical is that the recognition goes beyond or is apart from the formalities of any kind of annual review or generic appreciation. Teacher Day is nice, but individual Teacher Day might matter more. And it needs to be consistent and particular. Telling a faculty member something like, hey, your approach has made a tremendous impact on our students, offers validation for their value to the institution and reinforces their sense of belonging. Faculty who feel that they belong are not just more likely to stay, they are more likely to actively engage with the institution, embark on professional development opportunities, or engage with committees. And this culture of engagement doesn't just happen by accident. It's something that we need to intentionally cultivate to ensure that every faculty member, especially adjunct faculty that we're talking about today, feel like they are part of something bigger than just their individual roles. So how do we cultivate this? Structured opportunities such as regular check-ins, defined mentorship programs, and faculty events that provide space for faculty to share ideas, challenges, and successes, foster collaboration, and a shared sense of purpose. Inclusive decision-making can also move the needle when we invite faculty to participate in discussions that affect departmental or institutional policies. That demonstrates that their perspectives are valued. And this doesn't just have to happen in committees. It can happen on smaller scales that can get bubbled up to larger institutional conversations. And resource equity is key. Ensuring adjunct and full-time faculty have the same access to professional development, but also teaching tools and institutional resources can really reinforce the message that every faculty member matters equally to the institution's overall mission. So when faculty feel they belong, when they know that their voices matter, their contributions are recognized, and they're supported by leadership, they become more invested in the community overall. No definitive answers, just possible strategies and maybe well-framed questions is kind of the goal here today. One of the most effective ways that we can communicate to adjunct faculty that they matter is by creating these structured, regular opportunities for them to be heard. Regular check-ins are nice, more than just based on particular individual need, but those become moments where we can pause, listen, and engage with our faculty on a more personal level. So an email that tells an associate faculty member that they didn't complete their grading by a due date is purely informational, doesn't build rapport, and does not get a conversation going, and does not help anybody to feel as if they matter. But if we ask the right questions, if we go beyond, hey, do this, or simply, how are you, we can get to something deeper. What's working for you right now? Or what could help you feel more supported in this moment or in this task? These check-ins allow us to notice the unique contributions of adjunct faculty members, but more importantly, they can start to build this sense of rapport, trust, community, and belonging. When faculty know that their input is valued and solicited and valued and acted upon, they can become more engaged. To truly create this collaborative community, we need to provide spaces, both formal and informal, where adjunct faculty can connect, share, and collaborate. Community building workshops that focus on teaching strategies, new technologies, or professional challenges are really important, but just as important are social events. I just today got invited to a School of General Studies associate faculty meetup. Those things are awesome. Those things are important. These moments of informal connection help break down barriers and allow faculty to form meaningful relationships outside the classroom. When faculty feel part of a supportive community, they are more likely to exchange ideas, collaborate on projects, support one another, give. This collaborative spirit benefits faculty and ultimately can enhance student experience, as faculty will bring that sense of camaraderie and shared purpose into the classroom. Mentorship is a really powerful tool in fostering this sense of belonging, particularly for adjunct faculty who may feel isolated or disconnected. By pairing adjuncts with full-time faculty or administrative mentors, different people throughout the university, we can provide a structured avenue for professional and personal growth. When we talk about mentorship, we often think about that as related to onboarding or as related to some type of performance development. But it can be as impactful on a broader scale, just professionally. It goes both ways. Mentorship not only helps adjunct faculty navigate institutional culture, but it creates opportunities for them to share their experiences and gain new insights to feel more integrated into our unique, larger academic community. The impact of this strong mentorship program can enhance faculty satisfaction and development, but also, again, deepen that commitment to student success. Adjunct faculty will often face the challenge of not having the same access to resources as full-time staff, which can create those feelings of isolation and frustration. To address this, creating a dedicated resource portal for adjunct faculty is probably a good idea. And when I say that adjunct faculty and full-time faculty may have different levels of access to resources, I'm not talking about a site with a password. I'm just talking about the fact that as full-time faculty, we may have more visibility to a broader range of resources and a deeper understanding of our university ecosystem. Adjunct faculty may not have that because we haven't provided it. So a portal or additional trainings can serve as a way that adjunct faculty can be kept aware of different teaching tools and curriculum updates to really help them have a repository of information that makes this available to them when they need it. I spent about 3 hours today on Zoom calls with students, faculty, and advisors because of a pretty simple issue with a student who had an incomplete that was ending. But I wrote to the student and I said, hey, your incomplete's ending. Can we help you? What's going on? And we had a conversation, and ultimately the student is going to get a little bit of extra time because of some hardships they've been experiencing to complete their incomplete outside of the initial incomplete timeline. I was able to do that because I knew the right people to contact. I knew how to contact them. I knew what to say. I knew what I could say. But one of the adjunct faculty members I was working with did not know those things, did not know that they had that ability. And that's on me. That's my fault. I should have done a better job of explaining the range of possibilities and resources in different circumstances, making people feel empowered to take that step for students. We corrected it. We did it today. We've got a great advising staff. We've got great associate faculty. We've got dynamite students, and we're going to make this happen. But it's only because I got involved. Without my input there, it wouldn't have happened. And again, that's on me. That's my fault. I can't always be there. And so making sure that everyone has access to that same perspective and that same level of resources and support is really crucial. Belonging does more than improve faculty morale. It creates a compounding effect that benefits the entire institution. Faculty who feel more connected are more likely to share best practices, mentor other colleagues, and go the extra mile for their students. This sense of community among faculty directly impacts student experiences, creating a more engaged, collaborative learning environment. When faculty feel that sense of belonging, their enthusiasm and commitment transfer to the classroom. Students benefit from instructors who are not just teaching for a paycheck, but are genuinely invested in the institution and its success. This positive energy comes from a faculty member who feels they belong, and it fuels greater student engagement. Long-term retention of faculty is driven by this sense of belonging, and it leads to greater stability within departments. Stable faculty rosters mean students benefit from consistency in teaching and mentorship, while departments can build on institutional knowledge without the disruption caused by frequent turnover. Ultimately, the goal of fostering belonging among faculty is not really about reducing turnover. It's about making people feel as if they belong and feel valued. And that's, again, an intrinsic good, a thing we should be striving for. By prioritizing belonging, we not only retain talented faculty, but we build a more inclusive, vibrant academic community that can achieve greater success in the long term. We treat people like people, and that's important. So we're wrapping up. I don't have any final words of wisdom to share, but here are some references. And we're definitely interested in engaging in a little bit of question and answer. If anybody has anything they're curious about or anything they want to add into the chat.
So we got a question from Jen. How can adjunct faculty advocate for equitable treatment? That's an excellent question, Jen. Well, of course, they can advocate for equitable and fair treatment through strategic engagement in governance, as I mentioned, and as Nate mentioned, and also alliance building. Now, like collaborating with full-time faculty members does create a strong, united voice that can push for policies inclusive of adjunct needs, such as professional development resources and maybe fair compensation. Also, they can participate in different committees. I'm going to use UAGC as an example. We have the Faculty Senate, and we have other committees that ask for adjunct faculty presence. This would influence institutional decisions directly, making their needs visible in the discussion that shape the campus policies. Like last week, or I believe this week, we received an email to provide feedback on the new IQR that UGen are leading. They have a voice here in these new expectations and requirements, and their voices will be heard. And the IQR committee will make changes based on the feedback it has collected. Also, at the School of General Studies, we have the Associate Faculty Meetup, the one that Nate mentioned also. We do it twice a year, and it is a great place to learn information, to get updates, to ask questions, and to get to know each other. Like, please, if you are an SGS associate faculty member, please consider signing up for this meetup. And also adjunct faculty can share with full-time faculty lead or program chairs their contributions or accomplishments such as awards, publications, or even simple course development in their full-time positions. And they can share and ask and share with us and ask for feedback on the challenges they face. So these are just a few ways or strategies that adjunct faculty can ask and push for a fair and equitable treatment in higher ed. Any other comments or questions?
A few more minutes. You're welcome to pop on, or you can put your questions in the chat. Before I neglect to do so, I just want to thank you, Hazar and Nate, and thank you to the audience for your participation in this session. I'm going to put some survey links in the chat to nominate TLC presentations for conference awards and your feedback on this presentation. This is such an important topic. I thank you both for sharing your findings and inspiring us, because no matter what role you play at a university, there's always a way to support adjunct faculty. So thank you.
And I think that's one other thing I would say is that if you are a full-time faculty member, whether you're a program chair or not, advocating for all of your faculty, including adjunct faculty, is a really important thing to do. And it's easy to lose sight of in the midst of day-to-day classroom teaching and goal reviews and spreadsheet checks. Staying in touch with the human side of the people who are doing the labor is a really important aspect of any full-time faculty's mandate, I think. And so any opportunity, we're talking about how adjunct faculty can advocate for themselves, but, they're paid for 13 hours, and most of those 13 hours, at least in English 121, is spent grading papers. So how are they meant to find that time? And I want to be mindful of that. And again, remember that our charge, our sort of call to action, if you are a full-time member at any institution, full-time faculty member, is to make sure that you are advocating for the rights of all of your faculty, keeping some of these ideas in mind, and thinking of different strategies that might help and be sustainable. In my job, my role, my little corner of the world, I can tell people that adjuncts should be paid more, but nobody's going to listen to me, and I'm not going to really make that change today or tomorrow. I can keep saying it. But what are the things that I might be able to do? What are the things that I can do to create that sense of belonging? And I feel like that's where it sort of needs to come from, is individual acts, small acts, while continuing to look at the larger picture. More pay, professional development fund for associate faculty. I mean, these things are really important, but they're not going to happen overnight and just because I say so. So hopefully we'll all be able to take some small steps that can help change a larger picture.
Nate, we have another question in the chat. Like for new associate faculty members, what advice do you have for them to be involved more in the university? I just responded like, to check, the newsletters, email lists or updates, and to reach out to leadership or full-time faculty for, advice or any future opportunities, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, those are, I mean, those are all great suggestions. And I feel like, we're kind of talking about this as if we imagine adjunct faculty want to belong. Let's also admit that there are some degree of adjunct faculty who they want the paycheck that we're offering and they're happy doing that. I don't want anyone to feel as if we're asking more than what we are already. But one thing I would suggest, and again, Hazar, everything you type there is awesome and right on point. But one thing that I personally feel is really valuable is just having a conversation with associate faculty. Doesn't have to be about your class. Doesn't have to be about the University of Arizona Global Campus. Write back to an email to me and say, hey, let's chat for 30 minutes. Doesn't even matter if you're an adjunct faculty within my particular area. And I feel like a lot of program chairs, I think a lot of full-time faculty around the university would echo that. I'm always happy to chat about anything. If it's a particular aspect of our role, happy to do that. That falls under the idea of mentorship. But if it's a larger conversation about professional issues, or if you just happen to know that I'm a Boston Bruins fan and you're not, and you want to rag on me because they're not doing so well this year, that's okay too. We can just connect. We can chat via text. We can connect on the phone. We can meet via Zoom on your time. And again, I think a lot of faculty, full-time faculty, would extend that same kind of courtesy. I think it's just really important to connect as human beings, to be people together, and to foster that sense of community and belonging, starting with our hearts, if that's not too hokey to say. And we can bring the pens and paper and course outcomes into it later. But connecting, I think, is key.
Again, thank you both so much for some inspiration on this important topic. We can hang out for 2 more minutes. We have a little tiny extra bit of time, although you can reach out, I'm sure, to Nate and Hazar. I'm sure they'd be happy to provide more information or guidance if you're interested. Again, thank you for your participation, and thanks to both of you for an excellent presentation. Oh,
Thank
Dr.
you
Pritt.
so much, Holly, and thanks everyone for coming.